Ladies and gentlemen, welcome in. Welcome into another live stream. Did you see Nick Fuentes with Tucker? Yeah, I just saw that came out. That came out a few minutes ago, maybe like 20 minutes ago. I saw. What's up, guys? What's up? LSU needs a coach. Yeah, I know. We'll see. They're gonna go big game hunting. I'm sure LSU will. Looking like the Tulane coach, maybe, I guess, because it fits Louisiana, but I don't know if the fan base would be too happy about that. Haven't been here in some time. The problem is that, the names are changed. Now it's the usernames. I can't recognize everyone like I used to. How's your Monday going? It's pretty normal. Pretty normal. Did you see Vance 2028 by Trump today saying him and Rubio? Yeah, I did see that. Wonder why the GME coins and its stick didn't pump more from the Trump tweets. Well, it depends. I mean, some of the market caps of those memes are like, I know one of the main GameStop meme is at like 20 million. It's kind of hard to from like a singular event of like tweets. It doesn't really move the market on a $20 million coin. If it was like 100K, I would say it would move pretty significantly, but would you create a show with celebrity guests between two Lego builds? What even? I'm not even sure what you mean by that. Yeah, did you see this? This is more Twitch slop. Valkyrie. I don't know what her ethnicity is, but she's like this is her friend. This white girl is her friend, and she's just like, and I appreciate her. She's helping me, but she's acting like a white girl, and white people are just she's obnoxious. And then everyone's like, "Bitch, you're actually racist against white people." And now the white girl is like, I'm sorry. I apologize. I'm just a big dumb white person. Like, this is how left this just disgusting slop is on Twitch. I'm sorry. It's like racism against white people, and then the white people still have to apologize. They still have to apologize. They can't win because that's when it's that leftist and minorities can't be racist. They say because it's a power structure. So they get all the mass immigration into the country. They could do whatever they want. They can change the culture. They say we don't even have a culture, and then they're not racist against us, and then we have to apologize when they're racist against us. No, that makes total sense. How long do you think the shut? I don't know how long the shutdowns go. I don't know, man. You'd have to look at the recent news, and I know there's negotiations. If there's negotiations, it probably means there's going to be a deal. At a certain point, there has to be a deal because the money's going to run. The SNAP benefits, all of that's running out. They're going to have to do some type of deal, and both sides are going to get blamed more and more, and the American people are going to get angry. So at a certain point, they're going to have to stop, and someone's going to cave. Maybe it'll be a negotiation. It probably will be a negotiation, but who caves more? That's the question. The Republicans, I mean, I don't think Trump is going to cave. I'd be surprised if he did. It's not his MO, but is 6-7 the downfall of the human brain? Yeah, the 6-7 meme, it's just slop. It's just more slop. I mean, it's like a 10-year-old kid made it, and that just goes to show you. There's no way people don't start rioting after the snap doesn't come. I mean, I guess they're going to be angry, but We'll have to see what happens. There's a lot of people on Snap. They're saying it's, and then they try and say, well, it's all the white people on Snap. Well, no. Look at per capita. Why don't you look at per capita? You'll understand it's actually a very small amount. It's like 7%. You never got the 6-7 meme? Yeah, that's the thing is nobody explains it. The only explanation that I got was, oh, the numbers 6 and 7 constantly show up next to each other. Yeah, no shit. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's just brain rot. That's all it is. White people are annoying, as anyone said at the movie theater, next to black people. Well, I mean, it's this type of stuff is just, she's like, I'm sorry, yes, she was racist against me, but it's my fault still. Probably that's what she said. 15% of Americans are on SNAP benefits, food stamps, basically. Honestly, that doesn't surprise me. It doesn't surprise me, but I don't really have a number to compare it to. Brian Kelly. I think Brian Kelly might be the coach, might take over at Penn State. He might be the head coach at Penn State next, they're saying. Yeah, I don't think they really banned affirmative action if you look at the new numbers. I think they still have some type of quota system.
How is your relationship with Elon these days, and is there?
I think it's good. I mean, you saw that during Charlie's beautiful tribute. Elon came up. It's good with Elon. I like Elon. I've always liked Elon. Elon's good.
Have you talked to him since the memorial?
On and off a little bit. Yeah, very little. Nothing much. Look, he's a nice guy, and he's a very capable guy. I've always liked him. He had a bad spell. He had a bad period. He had a bad moment. It was a stupid moment in his life. Very stupid. I'm sure he'd tell you that. But I like Elon, and I suspect I'll always like him.
Well, I mean, where else is Musk going to go? And it's like Musk has already endorsed Trump. He's going to go to some center party and waste money doing that. Musk is bipolar. He's got like some type of disorder where he just swings. He's got mood swings. But I think he's probably back to supporting Trump from what I see. You know, he wanted to do the America Party. It's like this weird moment for him. Do you think Mamdani will win? Yeah, I think Mamdani will win at this point 100%. I'd be shocked as long as it's a 3-person race. I don't see how Mamdani doesn't have like 100% chance of winning. His numbers keep going up in terms of Polymarket because as long as it's a 3-person race, it's gonna split to where Mamdani really can't lose, unfortunately. Jax Films replied to the White House tweet of AI Trump as Master Chief from Halo and said, F Trump, F ICE. This image is AI. Just count the stars on the flag. There's only 40. Yeah, I did see something about the something about the console wars or something with Trump and Xbox and Cuomo's ego's too big to drop out. Well, he already lost. I mean, you'd think now he's trying to run as an independent. The problem is nobody really likes Cuomo, so if he's like the option outside. If Mamdani doesn't win, it would be the biggest bait switch on Polymarket. I don't see how he doesn't win. I mean, it's not even Polymarket, it's just polling in general, the way it works. And if it's a 3-person race, he's going to get 45%. I mean, you're not going to lose if you get 45%. It's like 45, 25, 15 or something. Or like 48, 35, 20 something. Some bullshit like that. When do you think the shutdown will end? Dems keep blaming Republicans for the shutdown, especially considering food stamps ending. Yeah, no, I think it's got to end soon. I mean, at a certain point, there's going to be certain entitlements that are not going to be funded because the government's shut down. So it's going to force them to reopen it. It's going to force some type of compromise. The question is, who's really at fault? I think the Democrats are using the fact that liberals hate Trump as a way to say, well, we should keep it shut down. It's really not a problem because they can just say Trump's big, bad, and evil, and he's the one that won't negotiate and he won't come to the table. And so I think they're emboldened by their supporters because of the hate Trump, the amount of hate that Trump has. And also, I mean, if Schumer does cave in, I mean, or even negotiate with Trump and have some type of agreement, it's going to be appeasement to Trump, and they're going to say Schumer. They already hate Schumer as it is. So if there's some type of agreement where it looks like the Dems caved, it's going to be very, very bad for him. But they're going to have to come to an agreement because a lot of the trust funds are running out, you know, the money that they have saved up, and so they'll make an agreement, I'm sure. What's your take on AOC crying and screaming? You saw my tweet. Why did you remove it? You saw my tweet. Why did I remove it? Oh, I think it might have, I think that tweet probably had a grammar error and I just got frustrated. I'm like, I'm just going to remove it. I'm not dealing with a grammar situation. But, yeah, AOC was just, I mean, that was a joke what AOC did. If you guys saw, she had a rally last night and she's just up there. I mean, I think on the cue cards, it probably was like scream as loud as possible. It's just like this fake passion. Like AOC tries to do this where it's like, oh, she's so passionate and she loves all these people. And it was like the big grand finale of the speech where she's listing off all of the different minorities. And it's like, oh, it's so amazing. But you can tell it's so forced. Like it's not real passion because she's trying to make sure she knows what she's saying and then she's mispronouncing things. And it just comes off as really bad. You can tell it's like a robotic speech that she was trying to memorize. And on top of that, she was trying to add passion to it, so it just comes off as just so fake. And then she's like screaming into the microphone. The microphone starts like the sound was really bad. Like you could hear it muffling really loud because she was screaming so loudly. It just was really bad. It's like it said scream now on the teleprompter. Yeah, no, obviously it was a forced thing to where, and you can do that in a speech where it's like a build up and then you get really passionate, but it has to be done in a way that looks organic. If it was with her, it was not. That's the problem. Japan meeting with Trump, is that a good thing? Well, I heard the China situation looks to be a good thing, some type of trade deal with China. Although who knows? You don't give a fuck about the Epstein or whatever. Trump is pumping the market while keeping America first, getting respected. Now China caves to all the demands. All Trump did was threaten 100% tariffs. Did they seriously cave to all the demands? Is that how it happened? I didn't really see it that way, but maybe I didn't see the update. But yeah, I mean that's what Trump does. He threatens tariffs to get his way or to force action from countries, or the tariffs go in. I mean, we've seen him put tariffs in place. That's why you have to have in some cases you have to put the tariffs in place just to make sure the countries respect the threats. Otherwise, no one will respect it. You know, someone who could do a speech buildup. Yeah, I mean that was the way that was the entire way in which Adolf Hitler spoke as an orator. It was a long buildup. I used to study World War II extensively. Thoughts on NYC mayoral race? Yeah, Mamdani is gonna win. Mamdani is gonna win because it's a three-person race, and it's just like you look at it, it's 94%. Oh, it's come down a little bit. Maybe there's a rumor. It's come down to 91%. Well, that's interesting. Maybe there's a rumor. But it's just hard to see it. I mean, it looks like it's like Mamdani's going to get like 48% of the vote. Cuomo will get like 26 or something, or 32. I'm not convinced on the outcome with China. Yeah, I don't think anyone can be, because how many times have we heard this? You know, the Trump said there was a deal with China in May. So I don't know. I think we have to wait and see. Are you streaming next week for New Jersey governor's race? Yeah, I mean, I should be live on Tuesday. I don't, unless I decide not to stream. I mean, it'd probably be pretty stupid for me not to stream. Where do you think gold bottoms at? I don't. I know it's taking a hit, but I don't know where it bottoms at. I don't follow gold. I don't buy gold. I'm not invested into it. So, but still, it's up a ridiculous amount. I was looking at Tether Gold just because it's the mirror. You can buy gold via crypto. It's kind of funny. Just go buy Tether Gold. You'll get a better rate than buying actual physical gold. But you have to put it in cold storage. Betting big on Andrew Cuomo. That's what people are doing. That's why his odds are going up. Maybe they see value in Cuomo. What's your official prediction for New Jersey? You got jacked by 1 point. I don't think I could give an official prediction right now. I think it's a bit early for that. I think there's probably about 4 or 5 more polls that still probably will come out. I know there was a pretty good poll that had Citarelli down by 1. I do think it will be very close. It's one of those, it's going to be insanely close. I mean, for Republicans, Democrats think they're going to win it by 5 or 6 points. I don't think it's going to be like that. I think it'll certainly be close. What about the physical gold coin? Dude, they made when gold started mooning, when gold went to 30 trillion, there was so many different meme coins based off of gold. The problem is they're all just bullshit. There's nothing to them. And I get it's just a meme, but that's the problem with meme coins now is basically 40 people make the same exact thing. Okay, so there's 40 different gold meme coins. What's one of them should stand out? They should make a gold coin where you can stake it and get crazy rewards. That's really the only way in which a gold cryptocurrency meme coin would be successful. You launch a gold coin just called gold, or AU, what is it, AU 77 or 67 or something? What is the periodic table? Something like that. And then you allow just amazing staking rewards, because that would actually make sense for a gold meme coin. It's like gold, you allow them to stake it, and then they earn crazy rewards off of it. Instead of mining, it's staking. There is a company that will pay you a yield in gold on your gold, and now it's a really good deal. Do Asian women age more gracefully? They tend to get less wrinkles. What happened to the Canada coverage? I used to watch a lot of your Canada vids, 51st state merger. Yeah, that's kind of just the weird thing in terms of the algorithm. The algorithm loves those videos. For the life of me, I don't understand why. But I mean, I find it interesting. I find territorial takeovers, or not even takeovers, just mergers or whatever. I find it fascinating, like annexation. So I was doing videos on it, but it started getting a lot of views. But I think it's dead at this point, man. I don't really. Well, I shouldn't say it's dead, but there has to be a referendum. There's really not much to update in terms of news on that. I could look to see if there's a referendum. I think it was going to happen next year, though. Crypto tax reporting and compliance will be stricter beginning in 2025. What does that mean? Why would it be stricter in terms of what? You can't reporting trades. It's complete bullshit. We're supposed to report trades. Like, come on. Trades on dexes. You read that House Republicans are trying to deport Mamdani. Left out some things on his paperwork. I've heard that a few months ago. I heard that there was a chance that he could be deported. I don't think it's realistic. And if they were going to do it, they should have done it already, because now it looks like he's about to win and they're just trying to keep him from office and he can use that as a victim card. So I don't think it's realistic. The House Republicans, they do a lot of that. You must play Scott Lebedeau Spot Trump Tally Painter. It's short but hilarious. Also, Fox News poll Cuomo within 10 just now. That's why there's price movement. Trump's Tally Painter. Post. I'm not sure what that was supposed to mean, post, but I appreciate it. How can Cuomo get Sliwa to drop out? I don't think he can. I think Sliwa has issues with Cuomo. There's like some type of past history, and people are saying Sliwa is trying to help make Cuomo lose. I don't know. How is there this much volume on Sliwa? How is there this much volume on? That doesn't make any sense. But the state of Turning Point USA is concerning. Yeah, I mean, but what did you expect? They needed they need Kirk was such a he was that company. So if they're not going to replace him with, and there's no one to really replace him with outside of like actually trying to, because like who takes over? They really don't have anyone to take over that mantle, and no, they haven't hired anyone to do it. You voted Mamdani. You see all the girls that post, I voted I voted Zoran. But it's like rage bait, and then all the conservatives get angry. They like post their face like smiling. What is the big deal with the ballroom in the White House? Haven't watched the news. It's just it's large. That's why people. It's really the location of it being right next to the White House, and the size of it. It's 90,000 square feet. But a ballroom is very practical. This is not like Trump's doing this just like, it's presidents have wanted ballrooms in the past. It makes sense for state dinners. It's a convenience thing. I mean, it's just. You think the volume on Sliwa is? No, you're right. It's no votes. I keep forgetting that that it's not just yes. I don't know why I always do that. Did you see Pritzker crying today? Pritzker was like, "Let me be clear. I don't think Trump is Adolf Hitler." And then the lady's like, "Oh no Democrat has ever said that." It's like the ultimate gaslighting. Now they're trying to backtrack their statements. Candace said she's going to war with everyone at Turning Point USA today. Yeah, she's trying to stay relevant. You know, she got all those views after the Kirk assassination, and so she's trying now to start this feud. And it's like storytelling. So it has to be like multiple layers. It has to span multiple weeks. And so she'll start like this fake feud now, I'm sure, yeah. And they're doing this, the trial is starting. So she'll get into that. Did you see Kirk daughter clip? No, I didn't. Nick Fuentes interview with Tucker Carlson. This came out an hour ago. I'm sure there'll be a bunch of clips from this. Yeah, Obama's building that library. It's a commie design. It's brutalism. I don't know why. I mean, you would think what architect firm would sign off on that Obama design in 2025 in Illinois or wherever that is. I don't know where the library is, but I don't know who would sign off on that. He did that in honor of his Marxist father, I think, honestly, that brutalist design, that architecture. That library has 0 windows. It has no natural light. It's a horrible design. We don't design things like that in 2025, especially things that cost hundreds of millions of dollars. Is there ever a chance in any election that you wouldn't vote for neither candidate, regardless of whatever party they run for? Is that just loser behavior? Well, it depends. Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about with that. Trump's painter at rallies. Funny post. Do you think the Empire State Building is the best looking tall skyscraper in the world? Yeah, no, it's beautiful architecture. I don't know if it's the best. I would have to look at some of this. I know China has some crazy skyscraper designs, but I mean, in terms of like significance, it's got to be up there because a lot of the Beijing skyscrapers are like they're just all like cheap. Who are some dark horse names for open coaching positions? I don't just look up odds. Just look up odds for coaches. You'll find, I'm sure, a bunch of them. If you're looking for, if you're trying to find like coaches that could take jobs, just look up odds for LSU coaching job. There'll be a bunch of different coaches listed. Georgia, or not Georgia, Florida, Penn State. There's a lot of jobs open. There might even be more. We'll have to see. Omar Fati. I thought Omar Fati was going to lose.
About that. Free lawyers for illegal immigrants
and there's more where that came from. But he's not the only one. Across the country, there are more. Two more examples. In Minneapolis, Omar Fateh is running. He wants to fund non-police programs, keep homeless encampments, and stabilize rent. You hear that a lot from the socialists, and you can understand why. Rents are high. This one's interesting. In Seattle, Katie Wilson is running for Seattle mayor. She wants a bond for affordable housing. She wants to install city-owned solar.
I do think like the rise of socialism is interesting because, you know, it's like people are more open to maybe more rigid policy or more reactionary policy. Could be interesting for the right. They're interesting for like maybe a little bit more extreme type policy.
Position is morally bankrupt and it's politically foolish. For clarity, Laura, yes, I finished 5th in the nation at the Division I National Championships, tying with a 6'4" man who ranked 462nd in the men's division the year prior. It was like a South Park episode, but real life. And whose side does AOC and the rest of the Democratic Party take? They take the 6'4" man who flashed his junk at women in the locker room. That's whose side they take. They cannot help themselves, but beyond.
But I don't understand why they keep doing this. It's like, it doesn't even matter where the male finished. We as a society, we've said, no, this is not right. This is not fair. It's not fair to the female competitors to have a biological man competing. This is retarded. Doesn't make any sense. There's a reason they separate based on gender. People are desperate. They're going to support anyone who promises to help them. People can't afford to eat. Yeah, I don't really. I mean, I'd have to see the demographics. I don't know if that's really the case with this. This is a lot of like wealthy, like liberal, young 20-year-old elitists that are voting Mamdani. Now, look, you might be right with some of them, but it's like it's kind of an interesting dynamic. Like a lot of the minorities, I believe, are probably going to vote Cuomo over Mamdani. I don't even know if it's about like that. Did you see the UFC had a woman commentator in Abu Dhabi for the UFC 320? Really? I didn't see that. Turning Point USA LSU event tonight. Who's speaking at this event? Does anyone know? Is this a major Turning Point event?
Saying that the Democrats are Antifa, you know, and again, no one's really defined what that is. It's just some mythical thing out there that he thinks anybody that's opposed to him belongs to.
But it's like, if this is their argument, if we don't admit it's real, that means we don't have to, you know, be defended or be forced to. It's just pathetic. It's like that Antifa is a stain on the Democrats, and they say, well, it just doesn't exist, so we don't have to be accountable for it. Desperate to eat, get off your EBT card and go to work, buddy. I think that's a lot of the problem is with this, is a lot of these people have been siphoning off the government for a while, and so it's an issue. Well, isn't it based off of just income, or, you know, if you don't work at all, you can qualify? Is that not what? And that's the issue. That's why Trump said, well, if you're able-bodied, you shouldn't get it. Because technically, if you don't work, if you don't have an income, I don't know what the exact number is, you know, for the food stamps. Like, let's just say 15, 20,000, you qualify and you get the food stamps. But these people, they just don't work on purpose. They get the food stamps, but they're able-bodied. But this is something to where the government's shut down, and so they're not going to be able to pay it, and then that's why it's getting cut off.
Chloe's cops. That's a daddy. Chloe, no. Chloe, Chloe.
very sad there with Charlie Kirk's daughter. Yeah, no, the interest rates are getting cut for sure. The interest rates are getting cut by 0.25, though. It's already priced in. $25 or $50 cut stagflation. No, it's not stagflation. Why would it be stagflation? How do we have stagflation if we have a 3.5% GDP growth? And I think they're doing a 0.25 cut. Libs crying about capitalism while spending 10% of their income on Starbucks experiences. Well, I think there are some negative aspects to capitalism, but it's better than socialism. I mean, it's like a blend is needed, but no, it's like heavier capitalism is needed. But yeah, they constantly criticize it. It just gets old. It's a lot more complicated than fucking one specific economic system not working. The reason the United States is where we are at, you know, the thing is with capitalism, you can say, well, there's so much wealth and inequality, but the United States, the economy, the power keg of it, it's produced through capitalism. The living quality in the United States is significantly better than pretty much every country. Any country that has a comparable population to us, just the overall living quality for the average person. And I'm not saying, you know, there's a lot of people struggling, I get it, but just on a general level, our country versus other countries, when you have the population at 350 million, it's harder. See what they say with the smaller populations, and when the demographics are heavily white, the countries are better. They say, well, it's because of socialism. Well, no, they have lower populations. Their demographics are different. It's a lot easier for those countries to be successful. It's a lot easier for socialism or entitlement packages to work. Aren't we getting another cut in December on top of this week's? Yeah, I mean, we should be getting another cut in December. I mean, look at this. 98%. So they've got it at a 98. They've got December 10th. They've got it at a 90. So 98, 90, the January meeting is where it becomes maybe they won't change it, but that would be after it's down to 3.75, I think is what it would be at. If it's at 4.25 right now, there's 2 more cuts. 3.75 would be the interest rate in January of 26. What's your take on the Kirk shooter trial this week? No cameras. Well, I'm disappointed there's no cameras just because I'm curious about the shooter, and so I am disappointed, honestly. And it's gonna just stroke more conspiracy theories that they're keeping it very quiet and stuff. So it's annoying that there's no cameras. They know it's a very public thing, so I think that's why the judge ruled on that, I think. Is that why someone would say Denmark is better or something like that? So, yeah, they can't do that anymore. It's the same thing with New England. They say, well, these liberal New England towns are better, and then the people on the right will just bring up demographics. I mean, if the demographics are 95% white, the chances are the overall, average person is going to have a higher life quality. So they can't bring it up. You can't bring up Sweden. Well, now Sweden is getting immigrants, but, Sweden, Denmark, those type of countries get brought up, and then people just say, well, let's look at the demographics. They can't really bring them up anymore. Or that's just going to be brought up constantly. You can have a socialist system where, there's entitlements and it's heavily based off of that. If you don't have too much welfare issue, people on welfare and stuff like that who are not producing for the economy, because at a certain point that becomes an issue. But it is a population thing. If you have a smaller population, it's easier to manage. But then your country is more susceptible to, being bullied by other countries, obviously, if you've got a smaller country. Did you see that Kamala was asked how she feels about Dwayne Johnson having a bigger chance to... Yeah, I saw that. I think she's trying to hold on to, relevancy, and the Kamala stuff, it's She really, it feels like she wants to run. It does. Somebody's probably going to tell her and be like, you're not going to win. It's going to be embarrassing for you. Don't do it. Like, if she runs in the primaries, she's not going to do anything. Even the polls, you know, with her name recognition, you would think she'd be polling first. They do these Democratic primary polls. She's in 4th or 5th place already. This is with all of her name recognition. She's behind Buttigieg. She's behind Newsom. She's behind AOC in some of the polls. She needs to just go away. And even the Democrats don't want her. Or if they're smart, they wouldn't want her. Scandinavian countries have, on average, 80% private economics, not socialism. They just have capitalist welfare. Nothing to do with socialism. So, yeah, no, I have heard that argument as well. But they're also, on average, I mean, they're a lot, you know, they don't really tend to produce extremely wealthy people. I think that's why people argue it's socialism. But no, I agree with your take more. If you actually look into it, and it's a smaller country, those are smaller countries anyway, so it's hard for a single person to have a higher, you know, economic output. Thoughts on Japanese Prime Minister saying she'd rather see the economy collapse than import immigrants? That doesn't seem like her. Did she actually say that? That's like something you know, a right-wing person on the internet would say. Kamala had a perfect shot at the California governor, but you think the very first poll showing her ahead, which are irrelevant, got to her head? Yeah, so she didn't. So she bows out of the governor's race and says, I can get the nominee and do what Trump. She probably wants to do what Trump did. Trump lost and then he avenges his loss, and she thinks she can do that. That's how delusional she is. What are the odds on Jack? I think it's 80-20, but I don't know exactly. I'll take a look. Elections. $94.6 in Virginia, 87-13. I mean, you know, a good poll for Citarelli could change this and bring it back down to like 75-25, I feel like. Why don't you post NFL Weekly picks anymore? I don't watch the NFL enough to be able to do it. I mean, I probably could, but it's just like, I don't think I really watch it enough to give accurate predictions or... $51. All right, I'll be right back.
Yeah, I mean, this is a very dramatic call from that union of federal employees representing hundreds of thousands with a statement today saying, among other things, that it's time for our leaders to start focusing on how to solve problems for the American people rather than on who is going to get the blame for a shutdown that Americans dislike. Because when the folks who serve this country are standing in line for food banks after missing a second paycheck because of this shutdown, they aren't looking for partisan spin. They're looking for wages that they earned. They go on to essentially say that Congress needs to pass, in their view, a clean CR. Now, when Speaker Mike Johnson was asked about this today, he certainly kind of leaned into this. In fact, we saw several top Republicans on the House side take advantage of this statement and basically point to it, saying, Democrats, the ball is in your court now, whether or not you decide to act on this. Johnson saying, I certainly hope this is a turning point in the shutdown, noting that this is a union, after all, that is weighing in this sort of way and saying that this shutdown is a charade. Now, of course, at the same time, I have in recent weeks spoken to Democrats representing districts with heavy populations of federal employees, and their message that they say they've been receiving from federal workers was keep up the fight, that health care is the fight worth having, that it is an important time to push back on the Trump administration. Of course, as this continues to drag out, as we see federal employees now missing paychecks, will that start to change? We shall see this week when lawmakers start to return. The Senate comes in this afternoon. They're expected at some point this week to vote again on that CR to reopen the government. And members of the House Democratic Caucus are going to be here as well, so we'll be polling them too.
Taxing equals socialism. No, I agree with you 100%. I'm gonna actually look that up and really get into it because it is based off of state control and redistribution. That is what socialism is. You're saying there's more taxation, but it's not governmental control. So there's a difference with those Scandinavian countries, but there's so many bullshit arguments about that because it's population, it's demographical makeup, and even the way in which they do it and how powerful the government is. Yeah, Florida is a state. I'm sure that's where they all want to move to. I mean, that's where they always move from New York. Wealthy people, they go to Florida. You'd rather the government stay shut down than see black people get free handouts? I think at a certain point, they're going to have to open it because I think the Dems are going to cave. It's just there's no way Trump in the power position like this with the chambers is going to cave. I don't see it. Argentina won. I know Javier Milei's party won a lot. Those elections that happened yesterday. Teddy Roosevelt era till Eisenhower tax rate was 90%. Yeah, I know it was. No, you're right. There's obviously a disassociation in terms of tax rates versus actual government control or power. But is there going to be a redistribution of electoral votes mid-decade? I don't think so. I mean, they're going to have to do that probably right now. It is the mid-decade. It's 2025. It's coming up on 2026. So I feel like if they're going to do it, it's going to have to happen. Maybe I should look into that again because I did a video on that a little while ago. Trump was looking into trying to do it. I don't really know what it would create. I mean, the thing is, if you eliminate all the illegals from the census, or whether or not they count in the census, we don't want them counting towards a state getting more power. But the problem is there's a lot of illegals in Texas and Florida. Texas, it's the proximity to the border. Florida, it's the same thing. It's like the proximity to Cuba and other countries. But because like if we don't count illegals, I'm not sure it's going to be a net gain for Republicans, honestly, of electoral votes. I know that sounds crazy, but it might be like a net gain of 1 or 2. The real thing that they need to look into is the Voting Rights Act, the VRA, and because that's something that they can change. That's not going to really affect the electoral votes, but that'll affect the House. Do you think minorities, low-income individuals will loot grocery stores when the EBT, SNAP benefits, welfare runs out in a few days? Yeah, I mean, they might come to an agreement before then. I don't know, but these people, if it happens, you're gonna have to arrest them. I mean, You know, a lot of this, we'll see, but I think a lot of this is able-bodied people. They're trying to skate by, but hopefully this works itself out. Hopefully they're able to, I think they're going to come to some type of agreement if liberals want to cave in. Yeah, Powell's not going to get fired. He's going to, Trump can't fire Powell. He has, unless Powell does something that's worthy, and Congress has to fire Powell. Trump can't do it. Otherwise, Trump would have already fired him. Or I guess remove is the correct verbiage. Section 2 of VRA. Section 2 of VRA likely to be crippled or killed. No, I agree 100%, and it's outdated, and also it's just gerrymandering for Democrats and Republican states. That's what it is. Section 2 of the VRA is gerrymandering for Democrats and Republican states. Point blank period, that's what it is. It's to force representation, which gives the Democrats districts in heavy Republican states. And so when that goes away, which we think it is with the majority in the Supreme Court, you're talking about 12, maybe up to 19 seats being added or changing hands. Scott Jennings joining CBS News. I wonder what Caitlin Collins thinks of that. Trouble in Paradise. Bro, what is this room? What are they doing in Tokyo, man? This is, what is the energy of this room? This is strategically done. This furniture alignment is strategically done. Where's the energy and the flow of this room? This is how they do it in Japan. Honest thoughts on the Fuentes Tucker interview? I haven't really seen it. I mean, it came out and I started the live stream about 30 minutes later, so I saw like maybe one clip. It seems like, you know, I think Tucker, this is the dynamic. Tucker and Fuentes are kind of fighting for the same demographic. Young, disenfranchised white men. And Fuentes went at Tucker. Tucker really didn't respond. I guess the only thing I would wonder is, because it seemed like they were trying to be friendly and stuff, and it's probably better for Tucker to do that. But did Tucker confront him on, you know, Fuentes had some serious allegations against Tucker and his father, and I wonder if he confronted him on that. I would imagine probably not, but it's like that's really the thing that I'm sure people are interested in. They are talking about Otani. They're talking about the Otani deportation plan back to Japan after the gambling.
At the John Sick tip $5 through Super Chat. Do you think the majority blame the Dems at this point of the shutdown? I think ultimately public opinion will see them back down.
With how polarizing the Trump stuff is and Democrats and Republicans, look, the Democrats are going to blame the Republicans are going to blame the Democrats, the independents are going to be somewhere in the middle, and I don't really think it's going to be this crazy everybody blames the Dems or everyone blames the Republicans. It's just there's too polarizing. The Democrats are not going to blame themselves. The Republicans are not going to blame themselves. The Democrats say, well, you have to negotiate as the president to make sure it stays open. The Republicans are going to say, we control the chambers. We shouldn't have to negotiate. What we want should go. And really what this is, it's like a revisement. What they want to do is a revisement of the allocation of the cuts that were already going to happen. The cuts were going to happen under the big, beautiful bill, and I think they want it to be revised to some type of temporary health care and stuff. And so, for migrants. No, I don't have a room like that. That's a strange room. Where's the windows in this room or something? You know, they do that. It's a lot of light. I like the light. It's positive. It's like warm lighting. That's what it is. But I don't know. DJ, thank you. You realize Trump 2028 is a meme, but is it realistic? I don't think it's realistic. I don't think it's realistic because Trump would be 83. I mean, you're 83. Now, maybe Trump won't really age or won't age to a high degree, and we might see something, but I just can't really see it. You heard Dems are asking for 20 billion now instead of 1 trillion. Yeah, and that's what's going to happen. Wow, that's a massive difference. 20 billion instead of 1 trillion. Yeah, that's what's going to have to happen. And then both sides kind of sell it as a victory if the Dems get like 10 billion or something instead of 1 trillion. They say we got something, and you know, it's going to be like a negotiation. But I don't know. The question is will Trump budge at all on any of it? And I think the answer is no. You heard Dems have now lowered it to 2 billion. They're going to lower it to like $1, and Trump will give them $1. Here you go. Here's your, what if Trump's like, here's your health care. Here's your health insurance, and it's $1. Here's your health insurance, and he flicks up a penny. That's the negotiation we did. What if Trump comes on camera and he's like, we have a negotiation. We're negotiating back and forth. Here's my final offer, and it's a penny, and it's got Trump's head on it, and he just flicks it. Give this to Chuck Schumer. I'm going to mail this to Chuck Schumer. It's a penny. This is my final offer on the healthcare that we're going to give out. Spend it wisely. That's probably what he would do. What are you all talking about? Just got in. I mean, really, it's just random news like the elections that, you know, there's elections coming next week. Maybe the Republicans win New Jersey. The Virginia race doesn't look good. The Attorney General's race with Miores looks a little bit better. Should we stock up on groceries this week in case of black riots and looting? I don't think that's going to happen. Well, like the George Floyd stuff, I don't think that's going to happen again. Well, because of the EBT? I mean, they'll come to an agreement or something, or it's not gonna be like that. There's not gonna be all this looting, I don't think. I mean, maybe I'm underestimating it. I'm missing the Trump clips. Well, I mean, if it's an interesting clip, I'll watch it, but...
At his tell popular armies for likes 3,340 tip $5 through Super Chat. Did the J. Jones controversy actually affect this election that much?
It affected the Attorney General election. It's not going to affect the governorship election in Virginia. Spanberger should win pretty easily. I mean, unless it's a crazy upset, but it's looking like Spanberger's going to win pretty easily, and J. Jones is probably going to lose, so it definitely affected the text messages definitely affected his election. Because he was, you know, it was like 50-50, or even you could say it was 55-45 in favor of Jones, and then it happens. And Miores is a pretty sizable favorite right now, or at least a slight favorite. They're still trying to get Jones over the finish line, but I think Miores will win, hopefully. That's because you live in Ohio. Yeah, I mean, it depends where you live in Ohio. I mean, there's sketchy places in Ohio where there could be things that happen. But yeah, you're right. Like looting would happen in Houston. It would happen in Minneapolis, LA, San Fran, NYC, maybe a little New Jersey. What about if the 2028 race is Trump 82 versus Bernie 87? Trump would be the younger candidate. Yeah, Bernie's not running though. Bernie at 87. I see Bernie getting like people are being polled on Bernie for the Democratic nominee, so that's pretty funny, but I don't see it at all with Bernie. Trump won't endorse Winsome Sears. She can't win, and it's not a loss for Trump since no endorsement. I mean, dude, a governor's race in which is a liberal, they're going to do it like, oh, because Youngkin won, and, you know, it's whatever, bro. Like, I'm not going to sit here and lose sleep over losing a governor's race in a year. You know, the opposing party very likely will win. It's Virginia. Virginia's just, at least recently, in recent history, it's a liberal state. Are they really going to say this is an indictment on Trump and everyone hates Trump because the Republican lost in Virginia? Well, if Youngkin was running for re-election and lost, I'd be like, yeah, that's pretty crazy, but, you know, he can't run. Elon Musk announced the X4U page is being fixed after conservatives kept seeing left-wing posts from accounts they don't even follow flooding their feed. I didn't really notice this, honestly. But I don't. Yeah, people were complaining about the For You page. They must have messed with it because so many people were angry. They said their tweets are not being seen, and it was like some big thing.
This morning, more than 40 million people, that's roughly...
Won't this reinforce echo chamber behavior? But I mean, dude, that's just how people want it. That's how people want to receive news. That is how they want it curated for them. They want the echo chamber. They don't want to be confronted with other people, or especially people that are, you know, a lot of these people on the internet are very snarky. They're annoying. So they don't want that stuff polluting their feed. I mean, that's just how people are.
1 in every 8 Americans are bracing to see their food assistance run out later this week, creating a food crisis some experts say could be the worst since the Great Depression, all because of the government shutdown. The U.S. Agriculture Department, which administers the SNAP or Food Snap program, announcing, quote, the well has run dry.
Everyone's worried that, you know, they're not going to be able to feed their families.
Here in Japan, you see this video of the president and the emperor. The press pool capturing the close-up images of this handshake were warned by the hosts that if they shout questions or shout anything in the presence of...
Yeah, I think Brian Kelly's a good coach. I wonder where he'll go. What time is it in Japan? Like noon? You should hear how gay your English professor is every class. She's teaching about LGBT shit. You're joking. You're serious? That's like so 2018, bro. Like so 2019. But I don't know. They're still teaching that stuff. What's your major?
I'm very sorry that we kept waiting. As a matter of fact, Mr. President and I myself just enjoyed watching the Major League Baseball match. Actually, Dodgers versus Blue Jays. And Dodgers is now having a 1-point lead, and we really enjoyed the match.
Yeah, well, because of Shohei Ohtani and all these Japanese players going over to play for the Dodgers, Japan likes watching MLB baseball. They like watching the World Series. The Dodgers are in the World Series again. It's 10 a.m. in Japan. Yeah, I knew I might have overshot it a few hours. Is the new Japanese prime minister technically the most powerful woman in the world? The Democrats must be fuming now that she's right wing. Yeah, she's got to be up there in terms of women in leadership positions in like major first world countries for sure. Yeah, and it's funny, she's like really right wing. It's funny how that works. She says all work is labor-based work, so as long as you do it, you will pass. It's hilarious. In the syllabus, she says she does this because of anxiety and stress grades can cause. That's probably how a lot of those classes are, man. It's like busy work, you know. Will the Steelers get a new stadium? I don't think so. Unless there's news that I don't know. Yeah, I don't know who's the person, you know, speaking, or isn't this when they speak to kids and the kids ask them questions? Michael Knowles, Matt Walsh, I don't know who this is. Maybe it's a politician from Louisiana, if it's from there. You know the libs can't wait to see Trump slip up and not be able to find the stairs. Well, I mean, that's always something, man. I mean, that was it with Biden, but it was Biden because of his age and his cognitive issues. It wasn't just the age, but yeah, I'm sure obviously if Trump trips or something, it's going to be world news. The Hoosiers are going to embarrass your little Buckeyes. No, I think Ohio State is superior to Indiana. I mean, Indiana's a good team. I think Indiana's a really good team for sure. But in a matchup against Ohio State, I think Ohio State's just more talented. It's just the roster depth. I also think I mean, Pete Mendoza's a fine quarterback. Sayin is good enough, though, to beat Indiana for sure. I mean, Ohio State struggles to run the ball for sure. But they just have a more talented roster. They've got a really talented defense. Are you the ginger version of Matt Walsh? Right. Yeah, I mean, according to, I guess, one dude, I am the ginger version of Matt Walsh. I don't even watch Matt Walsh. Take on Pavia's mom dating Theo Vaughn. It's just strange. I don't know. Is Pavia's mom hot or something? I haven't even seen that situation. If Michigan somehow beats Ohio State, it's going to be a mental thing. Oh, it already is a mental thing. When they lost last year, it was a mental thing. There's no way they should have lost last year. The problem is, in the first 3 quarters, they just ran such a vanilla game plan offensively. And I mean, Michigan's a physical team. They are. But obviously, Michigan couldn't really pass the ball last year. There's no way they should have beat Ohio State. Dodgers 2-0 end of the 3rd inning. Yeah, here come the Dodgers winning another title. That's great for baseball. It's terrible. But they're going to do the whole Ohtani's the greatest player ever. That's what MLB is going to do. They're not going to talk about the payroll manipulation or anything like that. You think the Auburn Tigers should get a new dome stadium? No, not a college team getting a dome stadium would be it'd be bad. It'd be really bad. That's never gonna happen. Syracuse is the only college team with like a dome stadium, and some of the FCS schools, like North Dakota State. Ohtani has been crap in the postseason outside of one game. Yeah, I know, but the game was insane. And I agree with you. I think Ohtani's had another bad postseason, but they're just, people don't care. You know, he has the one game. If you hit 3 home runs in a game, your slugging is just going to be through the roof for the entirety of the playoffs because it's just going to overinflate it. You know how long that would take for the slugging to go back down to normal levels if you hit 3 home runs in a game. It's like, SEC teams are overrated. Big Ten just as strong. No, I think SEC is a better conference for sure. I mean, the Big Ten maybe has a few, like maybe Indiana and Ohio State are better than the SEC, but by and large, the SEC is just, the Big Ten just has no depth, and you see it every week. Look at the teams Ohio State is facing. Ohio State is even 20-point favorites against Penn State. Michigan's 21-point favorites against Purdue. These are not really competitive teams. They're just not. I mean, you could say that the SEC doesn't have any like giants, but they've got really good overall depth. Does USC make the playoffs now? USC. How is Jasmine Crockett in Congress? It's not hard. I mean, if you get funding from especially from a district that's majority minority, someone like Jasmine Crockett could win easily. There's so many districts. It's just a representative. What does the Big Ten have besides Ohio State, Oregon, Indiana? Yeah, USC is decent. Washington would be decent. Illinois would be decent. But I agree. I don't think it's deep. Big Ten needs Notre Dame. I mean, that would definitely help against. I mean, if they got Notre Dame, that would be a hell of a get. Because that would make it pretty close with the SEC if they got Notre Dame. What about the Oregon win for Indiana on the road? Yeah, I mean, it's a single game. I don't know. It was a good win, but single game samples, I'm not too worried about that. You're going to make a bold prediction and say I'm going to end the stream right now. I'm only an hour, 16 minutes into it. You've gotten 4 ads so far this stream. Hope that means you're getting paid. I honestly should take the ads off because I probably make like in terms of revenue from a stream like this. I mean, obviously, if it gets a lot of views, I get more money, but I don't even know it. Maybe like $12, $13. Most of the money from streams comes from donations, super chats. Unless the stream, if I'm averaging like 2,000 or 1,000 concurrent viewers, then the ad revenue starts to kick in. Then you start getting ad revenue, and that starts to be some of it. Why can't the NCAA just force Notre Dame to the Big Ten? I mean, what jurisdiction would they have to force a team to join a conference? I mean, the only way they'd force it is if they ruled you had to win your conference or be in a conference to be eligible for the playoff. I guess they could do that, but I mean, I don't really. The NCAA is losing power. They're not getting more power, so them forcing Notre Dame to do anything seems like a really far stretch at this point. Unless like the Big Ten and the SEC forced it by creating their own league and like keeping everyone else out. You swear ads always pop up right when you're about to say something interesting. The thing is I just can't. I've had YouTube Premium for so long now. Like I'll never get when I watch a live stream, I never get ads, just because I have the Premium. You got to stop donating through Super Chat. Doesn't. Yeah, they do take a lot. The problem is, bro. The problem, I mean, if I was getting a lot of donations, I would set up the Streamlabs to donate through there, and then I'd probably get like half the people donating through Streamlabs, but still half the people donating through YouTube, unless I turned off. The problem is, if I turn off donations through YouTube and funnel them all to Streamlabs, nobody's gonna donate just because the accessibility of donating through YouTube is it's easier to do it because it's intertwined versus going through Streamlabs. Like I'd have to put up a link and pin it constantly, and then tell people constantly donate through it. Go to the link, and then that's how you donate or some shit. What happened to your whales? Did they swim away from your channel? I think they might have had a shipwreck or something. I think they might have they might have went somewhere else. Thoughts on Moist Critical turning off all donations? Well, I mean, come on. What is he worth? Like millions of dollars? I guess it's a nice gesture, but I don't know. I mean, when you're worth that much money, I mean, what are we going to give him credit for it? Like, you went live the other night and had 1K people watching, went live yesterday for a few and had less than 300. How does that work? You went live and had 1,000 people watching on a what type of stream? Was it a vertical stream or like a horizontal traditional stream? If you had 1K watching on a horizontal stream, that's impressive. TikTok stream, it's not impressive. Instagram live, it's not impressive. Vertical YouTube, it's not impressive. Your whales got liquidated on October 10th. Trump slapped 100% tariff on China. I think it happened before then. I mean, it's been a while, honestly. Any chance Mamdani gets deported? I don't think there's any chance. Those House Republicans always say crazy shit, that say that they're going to do crazy shit. Nothing ever happens. I don't think anything's going to happen to Mamdani. I know there was an issue with something in terms of him saying that, I think it was like the communism stuff or whatever. When you apply to become a citizen, you have to say you're not going to be a communist. Something like that. They're like, well, he's actually a communist. Well, have you seen Falcon's Flight? Yeah, I have seen it. In Quidea or whatever. Yeah, it looks insane. Well, you know, the original, I remember seeing that before it was built. Now that they've built it, it looks a lot less daunting than what it was. If you look at some of the, like, Roller Coaster Tycoon builds, it looked insane. It looked like it was like, all right, this is gonna cause, like, people to break their necks if they actually build this thing. Now, looking at it in real life, I think Falcon's Flight looks a lot more... It looks a lot less daunting for people. Let's just say that. Every time you were swiping on YouTube Shorts, they shill you live streams of people playing Scratch Off. I get live streams of people playing these like mindless brain rot games, like where you zoom in onto this pizza. Like you zoom in on this pizza. That's one of them that I see. What other YouTube Short live streams do I get? I guess IRL stuff in real life, out in public, and then like these weird like Japanese video games, like anime shit, I think. Has the construction started on the ballroom yet? Well, they had to, they've demoed it. I think they're clearing and clearing the land for where the ballroom's going to go, and the construction should begin. I don't know the exact timeline, but it should start as, they've already demoed the East Wing, so. Make a video on the Steelers getting a new, I don't think they're getting a new stadium, man. They might be renovating it, but they're not going to get a new stadium. The YouTube Short live streamers are the most depressing shit. Dude, you know what I also get? It's the hustle of those guys putting rubber bands around a watermelon and then it explodes after like 5,000. Have you seen that? That's like a hustle. Those guys do it every night and they get like thousands of views. The problem is there's just no like real engagement, you know? So they'll get like 500K views but only like 300 likes. It's it's interesting. You want NYC to do well, but maybe they need to see the error in their logic. When crime goes up even more, we'll have evidence to point in favor of us. Well, look, whatever happens to NYC, you know, I think a lot of this is, and we'll see what happens with the election. A lot of this is just foreigners voting for Mamdani. I mean, I want to see the final numbers, but the only reason Mamdani is winning is because of foreigners who were born in other countries, then become citizens, they're voting Mamdani. That New York City is 25% foreign. 25% of the people that I believe are citizens right now were not born in New York City. That's the amount of immigration that they've brought in. So, you know, the idea that this is some type of reflection on America, it's not at all. It's the opposite. It's more of a reflection of like just this globalist third world slop, and then it concocts into a city, and this is kind of the result of it. So, you know, but also it is a bunch of like gullible white kids that, you know, they want to feel something. They want to feel like they're good people, so they think voting for Mamdani will help. Brain rot TikTokers coming to YouTube. You probably make way more money on YouTube doing that shit too. Like, there's so much more money on YouTube, I feel like. Now, TikTok, you know, there's pros and cons to each. TikTok, you can get discovered easier. With YouTube, it's harder to get discovered, but you make way more money when you get the views. If Muhammad Atta were to get struck by lightning on September 10th, would have it affected anything? Yeah, they wouldn't be able to hijack one of the planes. They only had well, they say there were 5 pilots, but they only had 4 pilots for the hijack. They would have had 3 planes only. You know, there were only 4 pilot hijackers. Didn't Cuomo win black people? Yeah, Cuomo won in the primary against Mamdani. Cuomo won black people and Hispanics. Mamdani won whites and I think Muslims, but I don't know the exact splits on that. How does rent freeze even work? They did rent freezes during COVID, but it was a short period, and like a sustained longer rent freeze won't work because the problem is the property will cost more and more to maintain. So because of that, the property owners, the landlords will raise the rent to compensate for the amount, you know, of money that needs to go into repairs. I mean, the buildings will just fall into decay, or the property owners will stop renting them out if there's rent freezes, because the market's reset and there's inflation and stuff like that, so the rent goes up for people. And Mamdani's like, well, we can't have the rent go up because it's, you know, the people don't make a lot of money. They don't want to pay more in rent, but it's more of like a market-based thing. I mean, obviously, if you're a landlord, you have to have a competitive price for a unit, because otherwise nobody's going to live in it if it's too high. So it's like a market rate, and they want to manipulate the market by keeping everything lower. The problem is, like, the maintain of the building is the upkeep of the building is going to suffer significantly if you force them to lock the rent at a lower price. Right? I mean, it's like you're forcing a market. It's not going to end well. But it depends how long he puts it on for. I mean, I guess the policy is to put it on for the entirety of his term. But they also say they want to build affordable housing, whatever that means. I mean, I think they want to build commie blocks. I'd like to see them actually try and build commie blocks, which are like ugly ass apartment buildings that it's like 500 square foot rooms. The JPM skyscraper is the top signal. That's a beautiful skyscraper. What do you mean the top signal of what? It ain't the top signal of crypto, I'll tell you that much. All right, let's see. What is it? Just another update.
I have always had a great love of Japan and a great respect of Japan. And I will say that this will be a relationship that will be stronger than ever before. And I look forward to working with you. And on behalf of our country, I want to just let you know, anytime you have any question, any doubt, anything you want, any favors you need, anything I can do to help Japan, we will be there. We are an ally at the strongest level, and it's a great honor to be with you, especially so early in what will be, I think, one of the greatest prime ministers. I think you will be one of the great, everything I know, from Shinzo and others, you will be one of the great prime ministers. I'd also like to congratulate you on being the first woman prime minister. That's a big deal. That's a big deal, and I want to congratulate you on that. I think that has to be called out. And you're going to do a fantastic job, and we're going to have a fantastic relationship. Thank you very much. I have always had...
Oh, man.
Well, I want to thank you very much, and I want to congratulate you. As you know, Shinzo Abe was a great friend of mine, and I was very saddened to see what happened. It was so shocking, but he spoke so well of you, even before we knew what was going to happen and your ascension. He spoke so well of you long before we met. And I'm not surprised to see that you are now the Prime Minister, and he would be very happy to know that. And I congratulate you on behalf of the United States of America. Well,
Now both Japan and the United States have developed the greatest alliance in the world. And together with you, Japan is ready to contribute towards peace and stability.
私は日本の国益を守り抜くためにも強い日本外交を取り戻す決意です。そして自由で開かれたインド太平洋の進展に向けても日米でさらに協力を進めたいと考えています。
On diplomacy, I am determined to restore dynamic Japan's diplomacy to protect Japan's own national interests. Now both Japan...
She's so skinny. Yeah, it's a lot of the East Asian women are very skinny.
So recently, in a recent address about Islamophobia, you referenced your aunt and some of the harassment she was facing post 9/11. Is that a blood relative? Yes, that's. I was speaking about my aunt. I was speaking about Zehra Fouy, my father's cousin, who sadly passed away a few years ago. And for the takeaway from my more than 10-minute address about Islamophobia in this race and in this city to be the question.
But like, it is crazy that we have to hear about Islamophobia. Right now, the current population in New York City is a quarter foreign. What are like? It's not even like, oh, New York City has 96% white people, and so it's all racist. Like the New York City is 31% white, and they're still doing this racism stuff. It's like the population within New York City has been replaced, and they're still saying we're racist.
My aunt tells you everything about Andrew Cuomo and his inability to reckon with a crisis of his own.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's just blaming Cuomo, I guess. How many Muslims in NYC? It's got to be more than that. Just based off a sheer the number of immigrants to the city. Or just filming Brian Kelly. Brian Kelly, after getting fired, leaving the building. Dude, Brian Kelly, did you see the clip? He's like, and I haven't even won all of my games yet. He's a good coach. I mean, but people hate him. Dude's filming his car. Dude got fired. Homie got fired and had to make sure his tire had enough air in it. Brian Kelly, the new coach at Penn State. Penn State fans really want Brian Kelly to be their coach.
At Yovan Beaker 4,998 tip $5 through Super Chat. Keep it up, DG.
Thank you. Thank you for the support. I appreciate it. The way he departed from Notre Dame. Dude, that was horrible. He departed from Notre Dame before the season ended, and it like gave Notre Dame no chance to make the playoff. Because their coach left before the bowl game. I remember that. Notre Dame fans have to hate Brian Kelly. I mean, that's terrible. You literally, like, ruined their postseason. Do you think Will Howard can be a competent NFL QB? I don't think. I mean, you never know with the way quarterbacks develop. I would be shocked if Will Howard was a starting quarterback. I mean, he was a 6th-round pick for a reason.
You're going to love this. I don't know if I've ever even said this on an interview before. I was listening to Mark Levin's show. This goes to show how normie I was.
Actually?
I listen to him every day.
You listen to Mark Levin every day?
In high school, yes.
Wow.
I was a fan. I loved his show, and I actually liked how he was kind of obnoxious and mean to his callers.
Yeah.
Vicious, and I liked that. I thought that was funny. But I'll never forget one show. He goes live, and he says, America's becoming a majority non-white country. Does anybody think that's a good idea? And I was thinking to myself, yeah, that actually doesn't sound so good. I didn't really even think that America's becoming majority minority like that.
Wait, so you were radicalized on race by Mark Levin?
Yes.
Are you making that up? Or that's
a real story.
Amazing.
Mm-hmm. He planted the seed, at least.
So that's Nick Fuentes on Tucker Carlson talking about Mark Levin. If the new tunnels in Penn State are not actually built, that would be very, very bad. Would you make a video about it? What do you mean new tunnels into Penn State? Is that part of their renovation?
Elect Zoran, and we take back America. Thank you, Queen.
We take back America by electing Zoran Mamdani because of a 25% foreign populace in the city. What are we talking about?
Thank you, New York. God love you guys.
Penn Station. Yeah, I don't know what's happening to Penn Station. I know there's been talks of a massive rebuild to Penn Station. I don't know if they're going to do it or not. You know, I think Trump wanted to take over that project to rebuild Penn Station or to some type of massive renovation, some type of overhaul to Penn Station. Maybe some neoclassical architecture is what Trump is envisioning, but I think the administration took over that project. Do you think the special election will go through considering the Schwarzenegger campaign against it? In California, I think it's going to go through for sure. I mean, I saw some polls on it. It was like insane. If that's what you're talking about, I don't know if that's what he's been campaigning against, but yeah, I think the California special election will go through, meaning they'll be able to redistrict, unfortunately for Republicans. You've been watching a lot of 9/11 documentaries. It's sickening how New Yorkers want Mamdani. But okay, I'm gonna try and help you understand this. You have to realize the New Yorkers that were in New York and were adults in 2001 during 9/11. Those are not not even close to the people that are voting for Mamdani. You have to understand, even just foreigners who get naturalized, meaning they were born in another country, coming to the United States and coming to New York City and voting in an election like this. That's why Mamdani is gonna win. It's not like these people saw 9/11 and said, we got to go vote for Mamdani. It's like an indifferent thing entirely. But I will say I did see, like, I don't know what it was, but somebody made a point and they were like, since 9/11, our relationship and our like how we treat Muslims, like we've gotten a lot more liberal in terms of it. So you would think after 9/11, we had all this like racism towards Muslims. It's actually been the opposite. It's like there's been this correction to where, you know, there's the suicidal empathy aspect of it. I thought that was interesting. Remember when immigrants tried to be Americans and not entitled pieces of shit? Well, when you get mass immigration, you're going to get a lot of the both sides. You know, if you have controlled immigration and it's a challenge and there's no illegal immigration, you're going to get a lot of people that try and assimilate. But the immigration that we're bringing in, and then it's also being promoted by one of the parties. The Democrats promote people not assimilating, and they say, well, you have to, whenever the people come in, they bring their own culture. They should bring their own culture. If you don't embrace their culture, you're racist. So there's more immigrants coming in, and there's this reinforcement by one of the major parties to not assimilate. And then if you say you should assimilate, you're racist for saying you should assimilate. At least we need new tunnels. If nothing were... Well, I mean, that's a massive project. If new tunnels are installed, I don't know how they're going to do that, man. You know, the problem with the transportation is the city expanded. It wasn't built for all those people. It just kept expanding. So there's going to be gridlock. There's going to be a ton of traffic problems in a city like New York, NYC, because of how densely populated it is. If you wanted like a really densely populated city, a lot of the transportation would have to be, there'd have to be so much underground. Like if you built a massive city from scratch, there'd be so much underground transportation built before even buildings were built to be able to manage traffic flow. I have not seen the hurricane. Normally I'll follow the hurricanes. Sometimes I'll look at the hurricanes, but I haven't seen the recent one. It's been a weak hurricane season. But you know, the hurricanes, sometimes they go, we saw with Sandy, I mean, it goes past Halloween sometimes. I don't know what CNN clip you want. I mean, this is what you want to show? Like, what is this? Did you see the Mamdani eating with his hands controversy? They found an older clip of him eating with a fork, so it's literally just for show. Yeah, I mean, I think it's you shouldn't eat like that. That's not how we eat in the West. We use utensils. When you're eating rice, you use utensils. Yeah, at some points we do eat food like you eat a chicken wing with your hands. That's fine. It's a little bit messy, but you know, there's etiquette. And when it comes to something like rice, because it's so small, you don't eat it with your hands and shovel it into your mouth. It's just not the way you eat. You know, in the United States, there's an etiquette to it. So that's the problem with the way he was eating. And then they do the false. They say, "Well, you eat pizza like this." Well, yeah, because pizza, it's not gonna get dirty. It's one piece. With rice, it's like all these little pieces. You don't shovel them in your mouth like you're a toddler sucking on a fucking sippy cup or something. That CNN clip is dumb. I mean, it's just the woman saying she doesn't want Trump to run. That's all that clip is. I've seen the clip. She's like, "Oh, I don't want Trump to run for a third term." Yeah, but it's breaded food and food made to eat with your hands. The way they do it with rice is making disgusting messy ball and stick it into their... I know they have like a ball and that. No, it's not. There's no etiquette with that. It's not how you eat, man. That's disgusting. And then they try and defend it with false equivalencies with like pizza and stuff. Like, yeah, with the crust you eat the pizza. That's a completely different thing. It's a false equivalency. They roll the ball up in their hand like a snowball and then eat it. Yeah. Thoughts on Battlefield 6? Looks pretty fun. I've been playing World War II Sledgehammer 2017. Find me. Shipment 1944. I don't know, man. I mean, maybe I should get Battlefield. Probably not. I wouldn't do... I'd have troubles on Battlefield 6 probably, dude. Thoughts on A&M's chances to make a deep college football playoff run? Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Final Four, I could see A&M into the Final Four. I mean, if they get the right bracket, they could make the national title. Or I think A&M could lose in the second round or make the national title. There's a lot of variance with A&M. I think it's hard to really say. All right, guys, that's going to do it for this live stream. I'm going to end it there. I appreciate everyone for watching. You don't like Diego Pavia? He's a bit obnoxious. He's a bit obnoxious. A&M versus Bama, Ole Miss, or UGA. Dude, it's so hard. All those teams are so similar, man. And like in terms of any of them they could all beat each other. That's just I mean, I don't really view A&M as a better team than any of those three by any crazy stretch. I know they're undefeated and those teams have losses, but all right, guys, I will see you later.